Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara. All relations. Today we're speaking about how to think differently like a spiritual Olympian, okay? This is a mindset that we adopted very early on in Primal Sutra. That we want to be the very best, that no one ever was. Shout out Pokemon. That mentality of being the very best at whatever it is that your craft is so key and potent, especially when it comes down to the ascension process, spiritual enlightenment, getting to the finish line, okay, and beyond, into the crystal world, the golden world, and the diamond world, until we reconnect to the absolute. Once we start to understand that we are here as a rare breed, we're here as savage shamans. So we're not thinking about the spiritual journey like other people are thinking about it, okay? We're thinking about it like it's a game, it's a sport, and the whole point of the game is to enlighten, to become better, to feel more expansive, more relaxed, more effortless. As you grow older, you start refining and finding out what was your true purpose all along. And this is a process of inner discovery, of revelation, and it's exciting, man. Like it's game time and it's the buzzer and it's last minute and you gotta shoot. You gotta lock in and shoot, okay? You gotta go for the target. This time we're going for the target. This is one of those lifetimes. This is why you clicked on this video. This is why you recognize this mentality with how you live, with how you treat your life. So you show up to your meditation with full precision. You remove the toxic people from your environment. You remove the negativity from yourself too. And you start building internally. You start understanding this lock-in season where people are saying we're gonna go until December. You're working with a different timeline. You're working cross-dimensionally, right? So that means you have connection to the elders, connection to the ascended masters, connection to guardian angels perhaps. Perhaps you're even interested in the Goetia. Perhaps you're interested in the Yoruba tradition. It doesn't matter what path working you follow, you will know that you will find a way up the mountain. Okay? You will find a way up that mountain no matter what it takes, right? And this mentality is such a sharp peak performance mentality that once it is infused with the spiritual world and the spiritual realms, that once you recognize this, that I'm here for a bigger mission, something epic is about to go down, right? And once you connect to that and you trust in your higher calling and your higher self, and you really give up your sense of control, of wanting to control the situation, wanting to impose your will onto situations, and you start letting God, universe, source take over instead. And this is a process of surrender. It's a process of surrender and also discipline. So you right now, the two main things that are going to be most important for you is accountability, communication, and consistency. Follow these three things, and I'm telling you, your life will change, your life will transform. You will not be the same person anymore. You will not have the same circumstances or situations anymore, because you are locked into what you want, and you're removing what does not belong, what does not resonate, what does not improve your current situation and standing in life. So you think in terms of a higher rank, you think in terms of a primal status, you think in terms of conscious control of this inner mechanism. And some people may tell you that you're thinking too hard when you're really thinking too deep. You're thinking way too beyond this space-time continuum. And that scares people, right? It scares them because you also agitate their demons and jinn within them. You agitate the gremlins inside of them and the astral squatters responding to your frequency. And your frequency pulls the right kind of individuals to resonate and work with this energy. And the energetics of this will make you so effortless and make you stand out in such a way that you won't need to try to fit in like you did. You will beam and resonate as you are. And this is a superpower because it's installed into every single individual. We all have this potentiality, this God spark within us. But what are you going to choose to do with that energy? That's what's important in this lifetime. What are you going to choose to do with this incarnation? Right? Like, for instance, I want to build my body up, right? And that's a personal choice because I noticed the sea monster Swamurti in my mind of the Makara is actually that swole. So all I'm doing is just taking the higher level guidance system and fusing it with my trajectory. And this is what I want to inspire you to do. Now, I cannot walk the path for you. I can only show you the doors. Okay, I can only show you the doors. So take note of these doors. One of these doors is our ADEPS program. PrimalSutraMysterySchool.com, okay? If you're struggling to fit in, if you feel like an outcast, an outlaw, a misfit mystic, and you want to create your own sense of worthiness, your tribe, your own platform, and you want to launch straight ahead to break all generational curses in your way. And that's not going to take 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. It's going to take a lifetime. However, you're adaptable, you're weavable, you're like water. So the reason why you're also on this channel is because you resonate with the concept of flow, because you recognize you are one of the same. The doer and the doing become one, right? So you are what you care about, what you invest your energy in. You are that. That similar quality is within you first. The actions are putting it into place and into momentum and creating change and ripples in the physical world. However, there's a metaphysical underpinning, and if you can connect with that, that is what will set you apart. That's that mentality I'm talking about. How did Kobe do it? He was saying that it wasn't even him. There was some other energy that took over him. And so this is how you have to think. I want my higher self to possess me. I want my higher self to take full control and ownership of this vehicle. I want to have this understanding that I'm here to play with the very best, right? These elites are not so-called elites. They're pseudo-elites. What's really elite about them if they're not following universal law? And they're trying to create a breakaway civilization or their own society or hide in these bunkers. What's the point? The whole process of this life is immersion, is grassroots, is primal. It's the recognition of tribe and community. It's not to go around pretending like, oh, I have a bunch of DNA upgrades today. Okay? And showing off about that. It's not about that. It's not about your crystal collection. It's not about how much sage you buy, okay? It's not about which spiritual TikToker you follow the most, right? It's about what you are organically bringing to the table. And sometimes what you need to bring to the table is to flip the table. Okay, shout out Yeshua, Christ. And once I recognized this very mentality of I want to be the very best and I'm going to take over, I'm going to dominate in the spiritual realms, right? I'm going to make myself a metaphysical construct, right? That inspires others, that moves people towards a very similar mission. Now, it is true that each shaman follows their healing protocol very individually, and each person, each healer's path working is very, very unique. That's absolutely correct. So the way that you heal is not going to look like the way someone else heals. But what matters is the results, the transformations, the breakthroughs that happen. Okay? And once we can understand harmony is the result, we can start moving forward with this thing. So think of yourself connected to the greats. Okay? If I feel separate from Vivekananda, or let's say, if I feel separate from even like Darwin, right? Or Michael Jackson, or Michael Jordan, or maybe even Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, right? All of these characters are archetypes, or mirrors for us to find our ways back home, back to source, back to God. That's the whole process. And this realm we're in is Earth School. So we're gonna have to learn to graduate past the lower consciousness level and ways of thinking. So our thinking has to become much more expansive, looking through the nonsense, barricades and blockages in the way, right? Treat roadblocks as building blocks is another key point here. Just because there's a roadblock doesn't mean you cannot build on top of that and move forward. This is such an important way to pivot and find different ways of renditions you can give yourself, right? So if plan A doesn't work, there's plan B and C and D and so forth. And once you have that in the background and you start moving like you know yourself so well, okay? You start moving with congruence, with certainty, and with a sense of connectedness. And you just start moving into it. Consistency, accountability. Imagine how unstoppable you would be. That no one else's low vibrational comment could ever perturb that individual, because they're going for gold. They're going for the top of the food chain. You get that? They're going for an elevated state of mind, an evolved state of mind. Okay? So if I trigger you, you either retreat or you evolve. The ones who stay evolve and grow. This is the energy of the Makara. I offend certain people because the entities within them are reacting. They're not reacting. They don't know who I am. They're just watching me on YouTube. They have no reason to respond. But the beings within them are shuffling in their seats. They're fidgety. It's like, what's going on? That's exactly the energy of the savage shaman. You are the still mountain. There can be rain, and there can be, something trying to tip over the mountain. But you're solid. You get that? You're foundationally connected to your process. You gotta have a process that you follow that's different to anybody else's. I don't want you to copy someone else's process. I want you to build your own, and this is why I want you to be inspired by our path. Don't just copy paste it. Create your own revelations. Create your own. Use your creativity, right? Play with your creativity. Don't just use it, right? Play with it. Because this is a skill set to use your imagination and keep evolving forwards and editing and bridging your character towards. It starts up here in the mind, right? And the whole point, at least for the masculine energy I know, it's to ground the frequency down into earth, to be down to earth, to bring that information that's floating around and heady and bring it down. That is a fundamental part of consciousness, because the man's energy is heaven, woman's energy is earth, earth and heaven together, working, creating harmony, creating symmetry, creating connectedness, right? Heroes Gamos, God and Goddess merging, uniting, the Holy Grail. This is the type of society that would be so amazing, wouldn't it? Just think about it. Make your mind just the greatest euphoria you can right now. And paradise, man, just absolute paradise. Okay? Now, by the power invested in the Primal Sutra Nexus, I remove any blocks to getting this person towards their paradise and potentiality. So be it, Swaha. Boom. All you need to do is believe that and work with that and know that there's something that shifted and is emerging. Let this be a permission slip, even if your mind is kind of blocking it and be like, well, he just clapped his hands and he just did that. But if you just go along with it and you're like watching a really good movie and you're like, man, this plot is about to thicken. I get this urgency inside me. I don't know about you guys. Like there's something epic that's about to happen. That's about to emerge. And this is the unveiling, the great awakening. The planet is realizing enough is enough. We got to change things around. So this leadership energy is broiling right now. We're understanding the new earth needs new leaders, new frameworks, new perspectives, newer perspectives. Ways to see beyond the scope of just the game, right? Because the greatest athletes ever, they weren't thinking of just the game. They were thinking about legacy. They were thinking about long-term approach. And that's what I want you to be. You want to think long-term. How are you building this? Slow and steady wins the race. Why do they say that, right? Because it does. You start stacking, you remain accountable, you remain consistent, and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it until it is your second nature. It is just simply you existing as you. Okay? And that's where you get towards more closer to mastery levels, right? With a specific task. But I believe we're in such a malleable time right now that you could pick up a new skill and get really good at it super fast, and people won't even realize like that was a skill for them, or like that was something they were interested in, but they could just try it right now and it could just take off, right? So try it. Take those calculated risks. Understand that a risk is a flow state trigger, right, guys? So put yourself a little bit on the edge, and if life is putting you on the edge already, you don't need to extra, carry more baggage on top of that. But I understand that. However, at the same time, you want to understand, am I thinking like a spiritual athlete would? Like an Olympian, like a long-term propellant, right? Someone tracks them down, a talent scout, right? They take them to the bigger leagues. Think about the process of that. And then the athlete goes, and then they go from one camp to another camp, right? They join one team and then they get transferred onto a different team. Think about that, really, as an analogy for your spiritual path, because it is the same, right? Maybe you were following a different route back in the day and then you switched lanes. And now you're carving your own lane. That is your character. The word character comes from the word origin to carve. So this is like clay, moldable for you, right? So understand that. This is why bodybuilding is so cool, because I can see my body transform, right? I can actually see the results once I put in the work. And that's really important to consider, because it really, again, comes down to the mindset, right? This morning, I didn't want to go to the gym. Absolutely not. I was thinking about skipping so bad, bro, right? But there was something inside me, that little fire within, it did not die. And all that little fire said is just do the thing you can, right? If it's to fill water up, go fill water up. I started to fill water up. Then I started to stack it onto like getting my towel, right, ready. Then, so I just did the next thing. Next thing I know, I'm booking an Uber and going to the gym, right? So just follow through the process. You already know what you need to do. Just follow it through. And don't be wishy-washy with your workouts too. Get in, you know what you want to do. Right amount of rest between sets and stuff like this, but just keep at it, man. Keep at it. And do it until you feel that primal nature within you awakening. That's the most important thing for you. Is do it until you remain as that spiritual athlete, that beast within you, has got to have a priest or priestess to calm it down and heal it. Right? So once you get this, you can then make character development so easy for you that it becomes fused with spiritual development. And this is what we offer as Primal Sutra, and I hope you resonate with this today. To think differently in terms of, man, it's the last minutes of the game and it's a penalty shootout. That's the energy where you gotta lock in, right? But what if you thought like this? What if every task that you did, you just gave it that much more? Because you know you are that much more. You are that abundance. So why not? Right? Push yourself. Staying on track, staying resilient. Right? Some days you're off. So what? Okay? That's like the scaffolding for the building to not fall over. That's okay. Take that rest. Take that rejuvenation time. But know where your mind is at. I'm here to connect to my life force energy. I want to be a healthy individual. I want to be connected and fulfilled in life. Right? So have this determination within you. It's really going to help you out. And once you have this, you just got to surf the waves with this. And I'm telling you, you'll be able to talk to ancestors, dimensionally time warp, bilocate, have telepathy, channel ancient spirits, break down old dogmas, shatter illusions with your third eye, blasting at it, protecting yourself against like evil space pirates, okay? Astral traveling into exotic locations. Having that deep sense of knowingness that your past life selves have your back. Okay? All of this is possible and more once you double down on your spiritual path. Because really think about it. What's moving you? There's some higher power moving you. There's something going on. We don't know what it is. It's electromagnetism, perhaps. We can sort of explain it through science and the toroidal fields. However, we have to understand science is bridging us to these ethereal realms. Fall in love with the unknown and embrace your journey. Okay? Embrace, appreciate, and apply. That is the 3 laws that we had when we started Primal Sutra. Embrace it, appreciate it, be thankful for it, and then apply. Put it into action, because if you're not applying it, it's just staying in the mind. It's just in the ether now. Okay? But if you just keep it in the ether long enough, it's still going to find a way to manifest, right? If you keep looping it, feeding it with more energy and emotions. But you know your truth. You know your spiritual path better than anybody. You don't even have to listen to me. All I'm saying is, trust in the guru within. You have this God spark within you too. The ability to trust and just let go. The ability to just know that of course I'm worthy. Of course I'm here to spread my spiritual mission. What was I thinking? Yes, this physical world can be very annoying for a spiritual being. I agree with you. But that doesn't mean we have to sit back and complain and whine like all these other light workers are. Oh, I'm in a prison planet. Oh, I'm suffering in samsara. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Okay? Always complaining, always gaslighting themselves into thinking they're chosen ones, always putting themselves up on a pedestal, and then everybody who's low vibrational, cut them out, right? Like this mentality, you got to understand something. If I was very high vibrational, I wouldn't even use the term low vibrational, high vibrational. You get what I mean? Because it's just more in the classification and the reasoning mind. Whereas the higher levels of consciousness, like love, like joy, like enlightenment, you're not even thinking of those labels of low and high vibe. You're just vibing. You just know your vibe. You just know that you have a resonance, right? And so it might be high vibe for you and then low vibe for someone else, but that's just your vibe, right? So I started to really think about this the other day, man, and it really started to help. Everything started to click again. And hopefully you can get something from this video today as well, and hopefully it helps you. It breaks something open within you so that you can move forward, right? It's like the Michael Jordan of this spiritual world, right? Absolutely. Like, I want you to think in terms of you are the greatest, right? Muhammad Ali, you are the greatest, and you are one of the greats, and they shall remember you as one of the greats. Because why not? Because why not? Give me one good reason. Why not? Oh, they had different circumstances. Oh, but my family can't afford it. Oh, but you're just telling me the how. Right? Those are just thoughts you're throwing at me. Those are just doubts you're throwing at me. But connect with the zero, the nothingness, and everything makes sense again. Stay in your presence, stay in your lane, and you will be unstoppable. You got this, we got this. Upward Spiral Gang, to infinity and beyond. Stay legendary. You got this, we got this. May we never be the same again. May the flow be with you. Us. Let's win.